And welcome back to Ozarks Live. It's time to dive back into the history of this city with none other than Mr. John Sellers, the Executive Director of the History Museum on the Square. This time, we're going back to our roots. We're talking about good old Route 66. So buckle up, let's dive in. Give a listen. Welcome back. We all know the story about Route 66. It was named right here in Springfield. But there's really a whole lot more to that story than you might be aware of. A great place to find out about that is the History Museum on the Square. And just by good luck, I have the Executive Director with me right here, John Sellers. Good to see you, John.
Hi, good to see you.
Okay, as I said, most people know Route 66 was named here.
Right.
There's a whole lot more to that story. This is not just some guys getting together and say, we'll pick that number out of the hat.
This is the stuff that TV movies are made of. I mean, really is. The people that developed this group of highway aficionados across the United States from Chicago to LA, there was a different committee in each one of the states. And they came together and developed this road all the way from one end to the other.
Okay, I want to stop you for a second. When you say they developed a road, we're not talking about like 45 or 65, one continuous, no. asphalt from one side to the other.
The reason that this was developed is because that the government decided that we needed to have numbered highways, because up until that time, the only way to travel from one point to another was to have a series of books called the Blue Books. And the Blue Books were like an old Johnny Carson routine. You go to the fork in the road, and you go to the red barn, and you take a left, and you go there, and it was all directions like that.
Because, cut off.
Yeah, because nothing was numbered. So they wanted to have these numbered highways. So they took these old highways that had been developed, and all of them had names, like the White River Parkway or whatever they call them, or the Lincoln Highway or whatever.
Yeah.
They all had names, but they didn't have a number. And they took these and combined them state by state into one long continuous connected road that would take you from point A to point B, and they put a number to it. And the most important numbers across the country were supposedly east-west, where it all end in 0.
Okay.
So that was the thing that everybody was aspiring to, was to getting that highway numbering in 0. So when this group, led by Cyrus Avery out of Tulsa, John T. Woodruff here in Missouri, and so on, when this group got the number 60 awarded to them from Chicago to LA,
big deal.
They were ecstatic.
Okay.
This is going to be Highway 60. The state of Missouri rushed around and printed road maps with Highway 60 going through Missouri. I mean, everything. This was like, we're 60.
Yeah.
Well, then all of a sudden there was a fly in the ointment.
Okay, as there often is.
As there often is.
All right, what happened?
Governor William Fields of Kentucky, realized that there were no major east-west or north-south highways through his state. So he went immediately, like his clothes were on fire, to Washington, D.C. and started to politic. Well, the next thing you know, the guys on the committee for Highway 60 get a very terse email saying, well, we've pulled that, and that's going to be awarded to this highway that starts in Virginia and runs through Kentucky, and it only goes as far as the middle, well, actually a field just south of Ozarks, Missouri, because they hadn't been able to get enough time to connect with other highways on farther to the west. But they were going to award this 60 to this highway, and here's your second place trophy. You're now Highway 62.
Oh, that couldn't have sat well.
Oh my!
We're talking. There's a little contention going on here.
I mean, these telegrams are just going back and forth, just like on fire. And they wouldn't hear of it. No, he had politicked well enough that they were going to award it for this 60 highway, which we have, it goes through here.
The 60 highway we know of is that one.
Exactly. And they awarded it to him, to the governor of Kentucky, and so we were awarded 62. So this happened, and then the committee just kind of said, nope, we're not having any part of it. We're not going to do anything about this. If you're not going to give us 60, we're just not having any of it. We'll just forget the whole deal. Well, then an interesting and very fortuitous outside influence happened.
Okay.
Cyrus Avery was very active in the Rotary Club.
Right.
And the Pipemeyer, who was the head of the Missouri Highway Department, was very active in Rotary. And they had a 5-state Rotary convention here in Springfield. And they came to attend that convention. And then as part of that, they decided to meet with John T. Woodruff. And so they all got their heads together at the Colonial Hotel, which was John T. Woodruff's hotel. Mm-hmm. And they were looking for other options on this highway because it was a great route across the
with a great
States.
purpose.
Yes. And so they noticed that there was one highway that hadn't been assigned to anybody yet, 66. And they said, that's kind of catchy.
Yeah.
Let's go with that. So they sent a telegram, and here's a copy of the telegram right here. They sent a telegram to Washington, D.C. and said, if the other states involved will agree to it, we think that Route 66 is what we want rather than 62, and this is where we're going to go.
So a little bit of contention, a little bit of serendipity, and a decision that really was serendipity because, as I understand, Rotary didn't have their big meetings here.
No, I didn't know, it was just a fluke.
That simple.
Yeah.
And that's how we came to get the designate of Route 66.
And why we're the birthplace of Route 66, exactly.
That's it. And those are the kind of things you can find out here at the History Museum on the Square. And one name that you heard him say is Woodruff. We're going to be talking more about John Woodruff in another edition. Thanks for joining us.